Hey, what's up? It's Madalen Duke, and I'm hanging out with Rob with Front Row Live.
I'm like listening to this EP that I feel has taken so much to kind of make it one happen and two be able to release it. Talk to me a little bit about this creative process and like the struggles that you kind of went through in order to create your debut EP, Talking to Myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole project has been probably 2 years in the making, which is a long time, and it's music that has been very carefully crafted. I think, I've written so many songs throughout the years, and finding this sound and these songs has really been really special for me. And each song I'm proud of in a different way. I think they all kind of came together, and the whole project has a very cohesive sound to it, which can be difficult as an artist because I like so many different genres, and I've written so many different types of songs. It can be hard to hone in on what you want your sound to be. But these songs are just so personal to me. It came very, very naturally, but it's such a, I'm so grateful to be able to release them finally.
Now, off the bat, first listen, I instantly love the fact that it's so cinematic. Um, I don't get too much music like that that's like cinematic like yours. What was like the mindset behind having it, have that cinematic kind of feel as you were working on this EP?
First of all, thank you. I appreciate that. I think the mindset behind it was really a lot of the songs on this project were written with a concept or a lyric in mind at first. And I didn't always know how the song was going to sound. I think the cinematic nature of it just came out, through the way I wanted the lyrics to feel. So a lot of them just kind of ended up being cinematic because of the way I wanted to present the message. Um, and it was something that I hadn't really done before, and I wanted to challenge myself to do something different. So, yeah.
As far as presenting the message, like I love the way you kind of deliver these lyrics differently throughout every track. There's some singing, there's some like I feel like it's like a little bit of some spoken word. Like talk to me about kind of figuring out. I guess it is part of your cadence. So like I guess like how do you figure out your cadence within each song?
Ooh, I mean, I definitely, I have a very soft soprano voice. And so a lot of times I've confined myself into that with different songs I've written in the past. And with this project, I wanted to, again, just challenge myself to use more of my voice and deliver the message in a different way. So, on the first song of the EP, Talking to Myself, yeah, like you mentioned, it's almost like spoken word. It's very talkative. But it made so much sense to me for that song because it's called Talking to Myself, and it really is this sort of inner monologue of my mind. And so I wanted that to feel exactly the way that the lyrics are. I just wanted it to be natural and not forced. And so yeah, there's a lot of different cadences on there for sure.
How did those cadences change the way that you either recorded like instrumentations or instrumentals for this record, or like the way that you kind of wrote the lyrics?
I think that Well, it was different for every song, but for most of the songs, we kind of started with a lyric or a concept in mind and built the instrumentation around it. And so, you know, there's so much, I feel like there's so much personality in, you know, the way that I deliver a lot of those cadences. And so we kind of built the instrumentation around that. It was very focused on, you know, getting the right performance for each section and then kind of having the track fit to that, which is a different way than I've typically done it. But yeah, for this project, that was kind of how we approached it.
What did you think of this approach? Is it something that you could maybe continue to use throughout your career, or was this one of those like one and done type of approaches?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that I definitely want to do that again in the future and keep exploring new ways to songwrite. And that was something different for me at the time. So yeah, it's definitely something I'll continue to do for sure. Yeah.
So the fact that you mentioned that this took about 2 years to kind of complete, I feel like within those 2 years, there's just so much room for you to kind of change your mind on the tracks or change your mind on the lyrics or kind of change your mind on the song in general. How many reconstructions did you go through with these 7-8 tracks that you have on the EP before you finalized and said, you know, hey, this is the official like release?
You know what? Surprisingly, not that many. I think the reason it took so long to complete the whole project was that I wanted to be so careful with each song, that I felt so confident with it. So between each song, it might have been a month or two until I wrote the next one that I felt like was right for the project. I think there's 2 songs on the EP that were reworked 2 or 3 times. Like we rewrote verses and hooks and redid some of the production and stuff, but the rest of them were pretty fast. It was more just the time in between and taking time to decide which songs I wanted to use.
Did you feel like you challenged yourself vocally, like with this record? And if so, like what particular song do you feel challenged you the most?
I definitely feel like I challenged myself vocally. I think that on Run Boy, which is one of the songs on the EP, I use a lot of my lower register of my voice, which is not something I've done a lot before. So that was definitely a challenge for me, a lot of like vocal coaching to get comfortable with using different ranges of my voice. And then on talking to myself too, because the first verse of that song is very talkative. It's like spoken word. So that was interesting for me to kind of find the right way to deliver that. So it was definitely a challenge, but that's my favorite song on the EP. So I'm glad I spent the time to work through that.
I'm actually glad you said that that's your favorite on the EP, because first, like I said, first listen to the EP like that, you know, obviously that's the first track. And instantly I was like, I really love this track. But I just felt guilty saying that so soon, like so early in the EP. So like, I'm happy that you say that that is your favorite off the EP. The fact that you kind of changed from talkative to singing, like, do you feel like you had to relearn how to sing in a way in order for it to kind of just feel natural?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't, well, in a way. I mean, I think that the whole kind of theme of that song is really the duality of my mind. And I think like it comes from a place of struggling with anxiety and, you know, having these 2 parts of your mind like battle against each other. And so again, with the delivery of that song, I wanted it to feel I wanted there to be this polarizing aspect to it. So I think that I don't think I had to relearn to sing, but in a way it was challenging to kind of get those parts the way I wanted them to feel. But yeah, it was different for sure.
What do you feel you learned about yourself as you were probably mostly when you were probably recording this EP, but what did you feel you learned more about, or something new that you discovered?
I think just how important it is to me to be honest and authentic, especially in my lyrics, but also in the delivery of these songs. And that's something I think every artist says that they want, or it's important to them, but I really kind of found that and tapped into it, and it really became something that was crucial for this project and for me as an artist. So yeah.
On this EP, you've had a pretty big hit with Born Alone, Die Alone. Not only was it like one of the lead singles for this EP, but like it also got on a pretty major Netflix film. And for you as an artist, like what is it like being able to kind of listen to your music in this different kind of scene where like it's actually part of a movie, and the cinematic goes with the cinematic of the film as well?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so exciting. That song Born Alone Die Alone is another one of my favorites from the EP, and it was incredible to see that song being brought to life with the Old Guard film. And yeah, it was so exciting and just very surreal.
Do you see yourself, like, now that you kind of seen it with a big picture like that, do you see yourself kind of thinking of new ways to create new music, just to not specifically for EPs, but like more like in the scoring world? Like I know a lot of artists that, get that taste and they're like, what, I want to do some scoring now. Did you have that kind of feeling?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the whole sync world and the whole aspect of, visual representation is really cool and something I definitely want to explore further. I mean, sometimes when I'm creating a song, I'll put on a video or something that inspires me visually and almost write it with that in mind, with that intention. So yeah.
So in the past, like, the music industry has not been easy for you. There's been ups and downs, obviously. Like throughout this entire process, like what was your artist development like story like? Do you feel like these downs kind of helped you become a better artist? Do you feel like these downs kind of impacted the way that you create your music? Like what did you kind of have to go through in order to be the artist that you are today?
Well, I absolutely do feel like the low points of my career and just becoming the artist I wanted to be, I feel like those have helped me realize different things about myself as an artist and really kind of find myself as an artist. At the time, it didn't necessarily feel like that. But absolutely in hindsight, I mean, I've gone through so much just maturing and just finding myself as an artist. And, I moved from Vancouver, Canada to LA when I was 20. So about four years ago now. And I lived there for a few years and, wasn't really able to release as much music as I wanted to. I was very constricted and limited to when I could release and the types of songs I could release, and just, you know, everything about all the aspects of being an artist. And so, yeah, it's definitely, I'm so happy to have gotten to the point that I'm at now. And I'm grateful for all of those experiences to really have learned from and just create the music that I'm creating now.
And while going through these experiences, like what kept you motivated that, you know, you're still here today? Like you didn't quit music, you didn't, you know, change your career. What was that motivation factor?
I mean, I can't imagine doing anything else. I think I've always been motivated. I don't think I ever lost my motivation throughout. I feel like I have a story to tell, and I feel like I want to be a voice for people who can't stand up for themselves. And so that's always been a huge motivating factor for me to just become the artist that I've always wanted to be.
Now, lastly, Talking to Myself drops this Friday. Long time in the making, and I'm sure you're super excited about it. But aside from like the length of time that it took, what has been the biggest challenge in order to make this EP happen?
Other than the amount of time it took, I mean, I think just really solidifying which songs I wanted to put out into the world. And then, you know, once I've decided what those songs were going to be, you know, I'm so excited to be able to release them, and I feel very confident in this project. But you know, it's so tough as an artist, just having so many different ideas and songs, and so really just like focusing on, you know, how I want to represent myself was I think one of the most difficult parts for sure.